Hey guys, what's going on? Loto-Drandel here. Uh, it's been a while since I've done a video, though. This one's a little. I'll say it's a bit overdue. This one's one that pardon the change in light here. Hold on a minute. This is one that I've been kind of wanting to talk about, just because, well, just some changes that have happened. Some of you probably had been wondering, and even some of my friends online have been wondering. Hey, where have the live streams been? We noticed you've only really done a couple videos, and I ain't gonna lie, you know, things have gotten pretty hectic. I got more focused, trying to take care of some real life issues, and well, this one's kind of going to be a personal video, kind of also, I guess you could say, kind of an update. So, I guess let's get to it. For those of you who, I guess, aren't, who are new to my channel, I started kind of doing some videos a little more seriously back around, I want to say, 2016. And, well, let's see. Where do I start with that? I kind of just I did some gaming videos. I did one actually where I had talked about there was some controversy between a former Warframe player and the developers and a partner. Talked about that. For those of you who are not new to my channel, you might know which one I'm talking about. That still remains my most viewed, which is kind of blows my mind. I notice it still gets some views here and there, which I'm kind of surprised. It's a year and a half old, and that issue is blown over by God, maybe 5 months after I created that video. But in all seriousness, now just to get to some. So as time went on, I had a job, and I did some videos where I'd actually gotten recognition. I'd gotten my recognition for 5 years, as part of the business, which I did that back in, I believe it was October. I did a video about it back when I was at my old apartment, as you can probably see by the change of setting. Just to kind of, as you guys can kind of see, I'm living in a new apartment. So, things are it's got a lot more room in this apartment compared to, far compared to how things were in the old apartment. The old apartment, I could barely get around. Like, for those of you who saw some of my videos where I bashed McJuggernuggets, or really a lot of people when I did a lot of my face-to-face video logs or discussions, I was kind of in front of, next to a door and there was a breaker box on the wall. Yeah. So, I had this, the MacBook, on the counter. So, just to kind of give God, this change of light is bugging me. Okay. But, just kind of give, I guess, a slight tour. Be warned, it's a bit messy, but hope you guys can bear with me. Yeah, we had pizza yesterday. We just got to toss out the boxes. We got this table along with some more furniture, which I may as well go ahead and show you guys. Here's the recliner, 3-seat sofa. As you guys can see, got some lamps, nightstands. We got a coffee table here as well. Again, guys, I do apologize for this mess. I'm going to be in the process of trying to clean that up as we go. But also, since I'm going back into this room, I forgot to show the little white chair here, along with this office chair. Now, I'm going to be working on a setup. Well, and there's the entertainment center. I'm going to be working on try to work on a new setup to try to set up for my games. And I figured, hold on, let's continue the tour here. Here's this is kind of my roommate's game room, cable room. The reason why I say game room, cable room is pretty simple. You know, as I think I've mentioned this to some friends, and for those of you who, for watching this video, I'm not a cable person. I don't really need cable. I could really get by without it. But I know, she personally, there are things that she likes to watch. She likes watching. God, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Investigation Discovery, college football. She's a freaking Tide fangirl, which drives me insane at times, but I got ways to tune it out. And, well, that's one of the bathrooms. So, yeah, right now, and, well, of course, right now I'm in the master bedroom, which is kind of, flip it. You can see, haven't got the bed made, but then again, probably should, since kind of been running all over the place. And the dark room back there is also the second bathroom. We also have a grand total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 closets. We have one in my what's gonna be this first room you guys saw is gonna be my game room. There's one in her, as I said, game cable room, whatever you want to call it. One in the master bedroom, and then there's one in in that long hall, pretty much right there, that leads to the front door or the door out. So I guess it's kind of the, we also have the kitchen. I may as well kind of do a brief on that. It's not bad. We've had some issues. We also got a laundry room. We are having some issues with the dryer not drying stuff, but thankfully we've been figuring out. God, this freaking lack of light. Thankfully, we've been able to figure out a way to try to get it to dry off, but I'm going to have to call Sears and let them know, we're having some issues. Going to have them come out and look at it. Sorry about that. Freaking computer keeps trying to go to sleep on me. Kind of bugs me when it does that. But anyways, back to kind of what the original point of this video was. Well, for those of you who don't go to my streams, well, back in June, I had lost my job where I was at, and I had been there for 6 years and 3 months. And for me, at the time, it was pretty heartbreaking, but at the same time, it was very mind-blowing and very... It was also the point that could put me into a rage, because I still say the circumstances leading to it were bullshit, but at the same time, considering how I felt about the whole thing and how I was treated, it kind of saved me some of the trouble of just upping and quitting. But at the same time, I know there's people that would say, you're better off quitting over losing your job or yada yada yada. I mean, it's either way. So let's get back to how things have been over the last couple of weeks. I had been, trying to get a job. Well, actually, technically, last 5 months I've been trying to get a job, but during the first 2 to 3 months, I just kind of went into kind of a bit of depression / withdrawal, where I really just, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Sure, I had my video games, I had, that, but it was like, but I kept telling, but eventually it was to the point where it's like, I can't just do that. I can't keep doing this forever. And now I'm in this apartment, where we split it. It's $521.50 per month, and I kept telling myself, it's just, I gotta get back to work. I gotta get to work, and I mean, the depression, the lack of, not going to work for me. For 6 years I put into the company I was at, and it just sucked. Just for the ending of it to just be, it's like it's like they shook your hand 1 minute and then they stick a knife when your back was turned. That's how I feel about the situation. But the last couple, well, let's say last 4 weeks to 4 or 5 weeks, I've been getting some, I won't say counseling, I guess more encouragement would be kind of the best word to use, and I got the push I needed to be able to get myself to where, hey, I got to do something about this. I got to get a job. I really got to brush myself off, get to work, and I just got to do what I got to do. And by the way, guys, if the video keeps cutting in and out, I don't know why. The photo booth app I'm using just wants to keep stopping for some weird reason. Back to what I was saying. I got to a point where I was just a mess. I started putting on some weight. I started losing, I won't say I was losing the will to live, but the drive I had, the motivation and all that. Kind of like when you guys used to see me doing streams on a frequent basis or do videos. Kind of like that. That drive was gone. It's like someone had took that just took the key to that inspiration or motivation and just turned the switch off. I mean, and hindsight being 2020, for that part, I got only myself to blame for that. I could try to point fingers at everybody, but when you point fingers at others, technically you're pointing it at yourself. I mean, nobody really forces you to just stop trying. Only you can choose that. But these last couple weeks, or at least the last 3 weeks, have been probably the best weeks that I've had personally, and probably I don't know if it's maybe professionally, maybe. I was been getting some help from my roommate's parents, especially in regards to a car. So I'm able to drive. I was able to get my license back. Which was probably the biggest. That was probably the biggest jump start that I needed. Really, it was just getting my license. Taking the test, I honestly thought was going to be. I'll be honest. I didn't think it was going to be a walk in the park. I actually thought I was going to suffer through it, just because of the fact that I hadn't done the driver's test since I was like 14, and that's 16 years ago. And back in 2014, things just got messed up to the point where I just lost my license. Ended up getting a state ID, but advanced, 2.5, roughly, about 2.5, 3 years later, so, I get the push to try to get my license. I start looking up the state that I live in, try to look for some practice tests, and one of the things that I liked about it was that the practice tests were kind of doing some of the same questions, but in different order. So once I took the official test at the DMV, and even when there was questions that I didn't even know that were going to be on the test, it was becoming just, it was a brain refresher. It was just, it was just coming back. Just like, it's like that information that you think, it's like, like when you're on a computer and you can't find when you think it's lost, and all of a sudden, that light bulb goes off in your head and you find it. It's kind of like the driver's test. Missed 2 questions that I shouldn't have missed, and then missed 1 question that I genuinely did not know. But lo and behold, got the paper license thing. About 2 weeks later, got my official license, which is good for about 4 years. And then, fast forward, I'm able to drive. And now we fast forward to last week, technically. Last week, was kind of the biggest push for trying to get a job. I had put out applications to GameStop. I had put an application out to AMC, close to where I live. Got no responses. But then, I got a recommendation to another place that actually is pretty much right down the way from where I live. It's pretty much a 3 to 5 minute drive. And quite honestly, I went in there before to as a customer to buy some things for the apartment, so I figured, what the heck. And the day after, well, the day before, I should say the day before. Well, not yesterday. Yesterday was Saturday. The week before yesterday. So not yesterday, but the Saturday before. We went to that store, and the assistant manager, who, honestly, probably one of the nicest guys I've run across so far. I mean, I've come across some pretty nice workers, though. Though technically I've run across a lot, but I guess in the position where he is, I've come across a select few. But he told me, just on Monday, ask for this person, which I did. Unfortunately, that individual wasn't there, and we started doing it became a game of phone tag. Advanced to Wednesday, the hiring manager, I guess, is this individual's title is, and I finally get a hold of one another. And we set up an interview for me this past Thursday, which was to be at 11:30 a.m. So that was set in stone, and I was excited, but I was also increasingly, as the time grew closer and closer, I was growing increasingly nervous. And my best friend, I call him, I call him online Vane, though that's technically not his real name. He, comes over roughly every Wednesday, though depending on what happens this week, who knows if he'll be coming or if we'll have to change up when he comes over. So we went out to a town called Helena, and went to this gaming retro. I call it's a retro game store. Literally, I remember when I first walked in this store about, I want to say it was about a year. Maybe it's been about a year since I first went there. It felt like memory lane. I saw old Nintendo games that I had played before: Super Nintendo, 64, Game Boy Color, just everything from Nintendo, Sony, from when I first started, all the way up. And the owner she's like, it's like when you come in here, it's like it's a museum, and it pretty much is. And I've bought a few few things from there. One of the things I had gotten was this. This was a game I never heard of. It's called Legend of Legacy. I hope this comes out. Hope that comes out front, left to right correctly. But while we were there, we happened to run into a guy who works at the place where I was going to be interviewing. So I don't know if that was just, I wanted to say it was a coincidence. I want to say that was, or a weird twist of fate. Maybe a bit of both. But, so he and I got to talking, and, he kind of gave me some, he told me and I told him, who I was going to have the interview with, and, he just told me, hey, it's all right. Just go in, just be yourself. Just tell them a bit about you, and just be open, and everything will work out. And so, we talked a bit more. I've learned a bit more about what he does. He'd been in this particular area for 6 years, if my memory, or if, I think I said that right. I can't. I think that's right. But in all honesty, it's amazing. It's amazing how it was weird that I would not only did I set up the interview on that Wednesday, later in the day I run into someone who works where I'm interviewing. It was just like it was like I said, I don't know. I want to say coincidence, twist of fate, or both. So we advanced to Thursday. I got myself, as dressed up as properly as I could. Polo shirt, khakis. I guess business casual, trying to look as professional as you could in the kind of environment that it is. And even just with all the encouragement, and I'll be honest, I still felt nervous, and I was at the point where I was just, time went on. It was after the time that I was supposed to be interviewed, and I just, he was a little late getting there, but I just everyone's busy trying to do something around wherever you're doing. I just looked over some of the stuff that I saw on the walls, just to try to distract myself, and so just to fast forward, he arrives, and we go through the interview, and he asks, kind of the, I guess you could kind of say the obligatory questions. Tell me about yourself, what you do, what you like, what kind of person. It's I guess it's kind of the questions he asked was the obligatory questions I guess you could ask in an interview. I've never done interviews, so I can't really speak much. I've never been in that kind of position. But, I told him about myself, where I'm from, the kind of person I am when it comes to working with others. I opened up a bit about my previous experiences back up where I previously worked. And, just fast forwarding through the interview, he had asked me, tell me, or I guess he didn't ask me. He said, tell me why because he had said, I'm going to try to quote this verbatim. I do have interviews with other people that'll be coming in. Tell me why you should be a top candidate to be hired. Just, I guess that's the best way to put it. And I just put, I'm not afraid to work with others. I enjoy working with others, but I'm not afraid of challenges. I'm the kind of person that is willing to learn, even if it's something completely new. Though the areas in the building, in the workplace, I'm very familiar with. And I opened up a bit about me, more into, and this is something that I never thought I was going to open up about. I actually opened up about my disability, my learning disability, and some of the struggles that I faced with it. And how one of the incidents that I had at my previous job was centered around my disability and me as a person. And I mean, there were times where I asked, but after I had mentioned it, I was wondering, was that a good idea to say anything about it? But then he actually talked about, there was actually one employee in the store who has a learning disability, and it's nice to see that at least there's others out there that have learning disabilities, and maybe maybe I'll get to meet the person. But long story short, after the talk, and this other thing I'm going to bring up, 2 stores that had closed down in surrounding areas, and other former workers of those exact stores were trying to get a job at where I was going to, or trying to get hired at, lo and behold, like I said, I don't know if it's just that twist of fate or coincidence, but I end up being hired. So I got a job and I start tomorrow. And I'm actually really happy about it. And at the same time I'm still nervous. I'm going to be working in a department that I'm very very comfortable with, simply because it's right up my alley. And I got to be honest, I never thought I would work in that kind of store. But at the same time, it is an occasional seasonal, but I'm the kind of person that knows that it gets my foot in the door, and if I want to stay on there, as a part-time or full-time, permanently, I guess you could say, as part of the organization, I'm going to have to step up and prove myself, be dependable, show up on time, the whole, you guys, for those of you who have a job, you know what I'm talking about, the whole 9 yards. And quite honestly, I'm looking forward to it, starting tomorrow. Spent not yesterday, but Friday, getting myself new clothes just for the occasion, because they have a dress code that I have to follow, which I'm okay with. It's actually kind of the first time I'll be working in a place that has a uniformal I think that's the right word. That I get its own uniform for dress code. But yeah, I think it's an experience I'm looking forward to. I think the areas that I'm working in feeds on some of my strengths, or at least with some of my knowledge, and hopefully by working in that area too, and other areas that I'll probably work in as well, I'll probably get more knowledge in those areas too. Though I think the only obstacle I have, and it's a slight one, is just struggling at some points to talk with customers. So I usually have no problem interacting with customers, when it comes to some of the things that I'm knowledgeable of. Back at my previous job, when I was having to do the things that I had literally almost no knowledge of, that was a struggle. So I think tomorrow I'll get to see firsthand, and especially with training. And quite honestly, I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a great first day for me tomorrow. I start tomorrow in the morning. Not sure how long it's going to last. I'll find out my schedule. Hopefully tomorrow. I think I'll find it out tomorrow, though I could be wrong. And I have to ask where they put the schedules, because stupid me, I didn't even think to ask where they were put. I thought they would be like in the break room that they have, but I didn't see it, so I don't know. But anyways, I feel a lot better now that I've kind of talked about it. Like I said, it's been a trying several months, it's been almost 5 months going without a job. But, finally starting tomorrow, starting at this new job, even though right now it's occasional. I think, well, I can't say I think, because when I say I think, it's like telling myself that I have doubts, and I can't have that. That's one of the things that the guy who hired me had mentioned. They're very driven. They bring out the best. I think one thing I liked about the company is they bring out, at least in that particular store, they bring out the best in each other. And I gotta kind of get myself in the mentality of, come with your A game, or, come at your best. Don't, whatever insecurities, whatever doubts I have, whatever negative sentiments I have, leave the wolf at the door. Outside the door, I should say. But, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Again, I might do a video, maybe this next coming weekend, kind of give you an update of how I'm doing with the job, and just kind of let you know how it's going. Again, I do apologize for the lack of videos, and I'm sorry for the rambling for practically 30 minutes. a long ass time. I didn't expect it to happen, but I did give a brief tour, even though the place is still a bit of a wreck. I do apologize. And then I just kind of rambled on with updating you guys with how my life has been. But so yeah, that's really all I got for you guys. For those of you who watch this, if you guys enjoyed it, feel free to hit the like button. For those of you new to my channel, if you enjoyed the content, this video, want to see more, or if you are not sure if you want to subscribe to see more, feel free to take a look at some of my other videos that I've done, and if you like them, be sure to go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell for more. And this week is probably going to be maybe the toughest week, I think, just because it's going to be my first week working, back on the job. And one thing my dad used to say is, the first impressions are the biggest impressions. Though, even though some could say the first impression I made was the interview, some could probably debate that. I think my job performance will be the first impression, the big, hey, was this person worth bringing in, or should he work out the rest of however long this job's gonna last and then let him go? It's here I go thinking negative again. But that's all I got for you guys. Again, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure if you want to comment and tell me what you guys think, what your thoughts are about the whole situation, or just leave your comments down below. And well, for those of you who stuck it out for this whole video, thanks for taking the time to watch. Hope you guys have had a good weekend, and as always, again, have a good one.